crack on with this for the last hour of the stream, and we'll see what else we can figure out. Alright. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem reports show no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. That's practically all but saying, dude, I poisoned him, but try proving that shit. Yeah. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court history. Thank you. Dude, put your dick away. Easy does it. I hope that's the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. No, not at all, not at all. It's a delight to merely hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Or was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. Just a few things. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Consul, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with the witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Oh my god. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. No idea when the poor man burnt his wrist.
Yes!
But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived in this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unslightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Ah! Oh god! The embarrassment! Haha, what fun! You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryu. Why didn't you tell me? Wow. Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honourable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? He chose silence over the burning on his hand over a scream, and even over, I don't know, removing his hand from the hot plate. Like the minute it touched it. He left it there 3 whole seconds and thought, dignified silence, that's what matters now. Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes!
Well, I can't. Anyway. On the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table... I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of the court, it means bless you. I think it means the opposite. Anyway, as far as I've heard, the post-mortem reports no possible form of death other than the gunshot.
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Lucky for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. It can only have been a bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, it must have already been dead at that point. And yet, the fact is the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Unless you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that it's a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Another way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. I mean, what have we got again? Let's have another look. So... Time for the finale. Yes. There's nothing else in that bag, just the glass. Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there's always a telltale traces on the body. Yeah, but what about in the body? Quite right, dear lady. And as our police forces have thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Osanaga? As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true, but maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone exactly how you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. It is my honor Takasuchi Ouchie will cut down any who dares cast such aspersions. A way of killing that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yeah, evidence. And their inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. We don't have any evidence, though, that supports potential poisoning. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination, but in this country you investigate once and that's the end of it, isn't that so? Quite right. The Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. You okay up there, bro? He's thinking shit through. It doesn't even occur to you naive detectives to try to preserve this crime scene. I'm just thinking, with this guy with his coughing fits, what if he drank something that was poisoned? And this is the poison, or a trace of poison got into his system somehow. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, but you can understand. A killer blow. The lady's as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There's a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryu? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. As I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony or the cross-examination will be over, but then that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us chink her armor. Kazuma? What, Ryu? There is one thing I noticed. Something's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About him. Inspector Hosonaga, the detective? Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant and if we might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on the last statement one more time, if you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Interesting. In the last game, very rarely, if you pressed something twice, you got a different response. That tripped me up a lot. There were a couple of cases where that really held me up, because it was so innocuous, but then when you pressed again, the answer was different, and then it opened up a series of, like, doubts, and you were like, oh. So I had to talk about it a second time, and I kept going back over that, like, I've already pressed that one. Don't need to press it again. Yes! Let's see what he does this time. Inferior, what do you mean by that? The lands of the Great British Empire, there's stuff for later examination, and blah blah blah. Open for business as usual. Wait. There we go again. The investigation takes a different direction, evidence may be lost. There it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. Things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. I'll go cut him open and find them. No. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it, Ryu. It's all to do with the witness marker. Oh god, can we swap between witnesses? What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. By moving the marker left and right with A and D, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand? Oh, this is cool. While you're looking for other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them. You can, if you can catch the person just at the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere among the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright, I should move the marker across with AND and focus on the detective and then pursue him and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
Right, so when it does that, I can then do that. And then pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah, what is the meaning of this? Oh, damn, we killed the guy nearly. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts deeply. Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say while she was talking shit about the police. If there's something you would like to say, please share it with the court. What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with the testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him as valid as a witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga, yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from a scene of a crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Damn. Oh. Dude. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remark touched a nerve there. Take this for example. The bottle. Is that the bottle of carbonated water I took from the victim's table on the day in question? And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been open for 3 days now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Alright, dude, I believe you. It was carbonated water. Chill. There's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day, our police force will be among the best in the world. That time is coming. I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass of water as evidence. Or the bottle of water. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes. It was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Poison! Very well, Consul, you may resume your cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his further. Alright. Can we inspect it? Yes, we can. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. It must be a very expensive water. It's a bottle of Evian. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. There are contents in there. This carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryuzaki, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking the evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryu. In more ways than one. I wonder, will there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. He's catching up to me now. An interesting possibility. He's half an hour behind me, but it's all good. About the top or bottom. So it's going to be this. If there's another way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, do show me. Yes, progress. So we can present the bottle.
Yes.
What is this? A bottle of water? Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from a glass? Order! Order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table beside the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only the only person who could have possibly done that. Giselle Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbeciles. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in right now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize an entire treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may, I will silence you forever in this... Oh, shut up! Oh, do be quiet! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. She's going into Hulk mode. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, the inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison or any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. You sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. Well... No! Well, it wouldn't necessarily be in the bottle, it would be in the glass. I mean, she's hardly going to drink from some water that she knows is poisoned, that came out of a bottle that was poisoned. She's going to put the poison in the glass, and then when it pours, mixes in, and then you drink it. That's how you do it, I've heard. Not speaking from experience. So that's why she took the glass. She didn't take her glass, she took the professor's glass, the doctor's glass. She took Dr. Wilson's glass, because that could have been tested and could have contained poison. There would have been trace elements of it. I'm very grateful to all of you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. Well, I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Consul. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecutor have asserted, the shot to the chest from the gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I mean, we still haven't solved the question of the gun yet. I'm done for. This court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court at this time? Yeah, bye, Ryu. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryu. I have nothing more. Well, then, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Hey, Dan, how's it going? Dude, what's up? Good to see you. How's life? Oh, hold it! Who done the hold it? Oh! It's our mystery girl. Please wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Okay. So she's the Professor's daughter, I guess? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Did she get the glass? Did she just fucking go and get the glass? I wonder. Oh. How's life been treating you, Dan? Everything good? Alright. Savey. This was it? Oh no, there's gonna be more. It's an intermission moment. Yeah, these games do this. They break it up into, like, chunks. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! A judicial assistant? And a woman, no less? The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. I have vital evidence that must be handed over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. The trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Who are you exactly? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now. What is it, a report about something written in English? It's Jazeel Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? Was she by chance studying poison? And toxic substances? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of the curare and its effects on human subjects. Curare? Curare. Yeah, curare, I guess? What is that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands an immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. That is a poison? Ah, okay. Oh, from frogs. Oh, okay. She was studying toad poisons. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note inside the cover. If you think it could be more valuable, please cast your eyes over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Jazil's report has been entered into the court records. Goodbye then, and good luck. You've had long enough, Consul. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Actually, we can, because I'm going to go and have a quick examination. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. Hunters in the region have used it in ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Ah, so it's from bark on trees. Instant paralysis of the body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. You stand corrected. I mean, maybe it's both. I don't know. The game hasn't been particularly accurate about a couple of things, but anyway. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters through the wounds, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Oh, well, that's different. Due to its ability to render a human body paralytic, it's believed the toxin could have applications as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Let's say it's from the bark of frogs. Yes, frogs don't bark. That's dogs, not frogs. Dogs. D-O-Gs. They sound the same, but you know. Yeah, Snoop Dogs. That's it. Snoop Frog. A very unknown rapper. So, it's got to enter through the body through a wound inflicted by a dart. But not ingested. So that's... Interesting. Let's see where we go with this. I asked the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Dogs bark. What do you call what frogs do? Well, ribbit is what they do. They ribbit. That's how we say it anyway. I don't think there's another word for it. That's the noise they make and that's what they call it. They go ribbit. Ryu, we're out of options here. This really is our last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I have to very politely decline. No, that was not... Yeah. Forgive me, Miss Brett, it seems I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question, however, I will ask you to treat that as an order. Our language is more advanced. We have a word for the sound that frogs make. Ah, oh well then. Yeah, sometimes we just say a thing for what it actually sounds like as opposed to having a separate word for it. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Consul, what is the new evidence that demands the court's attention? Would be this.
Yes!
Yes! Miss Jazeel Brett, we understand you you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yumei University doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps into a deadly poison? Or what? Poison? Where are you going with this, Consul? What do you think? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete and utter nonsense. Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. And what do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means, no matter what test the police do for the toxin, they'd never identify the curare. Why? Because there is no test available for that here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order! Order! Consul, does this deadly poison truly exist? Well, according to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. Seems that it's reasonably well known among the European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. Claims that animals shot by arrows laced with the curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Attention!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and other diners would have surely noticed. Well, no, because it causes paralysis. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being any kind of pain. According to this, however, it is the other way round. What do you mean, the other way round? The very fact the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Consul. The moment the toxin enters the person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, affected victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they're in total agony, there would be no signs of visible pain at all. Like if they were burning their wrist on a hot plate. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all his strength in his muscles, he'd collapse to the floor, but with a chair under him for support as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Yeah, but the report is titled, you know, that it's the effect on humans. Because it was used as a hunting poison to kill animals. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I've said, leaving the victims unable to move. After a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That's the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Well, damn. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Consul, actually contains this terrifying poison? This This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. That is brutal, yeah. If I may? These are all the facts you think you're so clever. Oh, do shut up indeed. It's you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Attention!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Ha ha ha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? She's gonna chug it. And she's not gonna die. But, oh my god, she's actually getting him to pour it. It's like, waiter. But I'm a detective. Again, it was in the glass originally, not in the bottle. How would she have even got the poison into the bottle that was brought from the kitchen of a restaurant? He couldn't have. He even poured it for them when he brought it. He said that earlier. And that's why she took the glass. It wasn't hers, it was the doctor's. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Wow, sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, the whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? She's hydrating. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. How long is this game? This is the tutorial. It's a very long... If it's like the others... let me think. The first Ace Attorney game took me several weeks to get through. And then the second one, about as many. And then the third one, just as many more. I was at that game from February through till like early July. With a couple of other games in between because I can't do this much talking. What? Oh my god. Yeah, these are long games. They're really long, but they're so well done. So this is just the tutorial case. The first case in the first game was probably about 3 or 4 hours long. And then you moved into the main case that took about 2 days, 3 streams for me to get through. They're pretty long. So, no curare. The bottle was clean, is what you're saying. Haha. You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We're most gratified with all the assistance you've given. This doesn't make sense. There has to have been poison in the bottle. So how did she... How does she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in the bottle, doesn't there? There can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryu. We have all the clues now. Bottle of water. It contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in the bottle. There's like, yeah, welcome to 5 minutes ago. What? Why, Ryu? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me, but sometimes it's in need of a good staining. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this colour is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending to a promising line of... oh, damn. So hang on, I got that wrong. So I got penalised for that. Hang on. Oh. Let me have a look at this again. Because it said there was no antidote, right? Yeah. A solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found, or patients will die of suffocation. So they're saying there is poison in the bottle. The whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been poison in the bottle. Can't have been. Okay, so... the bottle does contain poison. What? No, that's entirely different from what you were just saying. The culprit put water and poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. Yeah, I'm with you on that, but not from the bottle. It was in the glass. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious. Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle contained poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe the complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the courtroom somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. How was the witness able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? I mean, she didn't even go paralyzed. To me, it's just a case of she took the glass with her. Because that had the poison in it, because the glass was poisoned, but... that's not what we're being asked here. What explains how the witness was able to consume this water unscathed? Yeah. Nothing in this, is there? I mean, it does, yeah. But I found with these games, it's very tricky in the way that it's worded. And if you try to jump ahead with what you already figured out before you get there, it's not the same thing as what it's asking you to do now. You've got to walk the steps to get to it. So, I don't know. It's like it's saying, how was she able to consume this supposedly poison water unscathed? It's asking us about now. How was she able to do that now? And the glass from earlier doesn't really have anything to do with that, but it does, yeah. You assume the glass was poisoned based on what? Based on her demonstration. I guess, yeah. That's true. It kind of all comes back around to that. Alright, well look, let's do it. Let's present the glass.
Yes!
No, that's wrong. I mean, we're on the right track, but we're too early for this, I think. This game does this. This was one of the only annoyances I had with the Ace Attorney games, was the fact that sometimes you know what you're supposed to be presenting, but the game doesn't think you should have figured it out yet, because you've got to walk the steps. You'll see in time. But yeah, we assume the glass was poisoned based on the fact that she removed it. And, you know, the fact that she could have drunk from that water as well at the table to keep up appearances. So one of the glasses didn't have poison and one did. And the fact that, how would she have poisoned a whole bottle of water? This guy, the detective, brought it to the table and poured it for them from the kitchen. So how did the poison get in the bottle? That's the thing I don't... I'm just going with the flow of logic here. Like, how would it have been set up? So that was wrong. We'll have to think harder than that. Making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. I'll do my best. You know, this game is pretty far-fetched. Well, true, yeah. But even then, it still has to work within bounds of realities as well, right? You came to other conclusions. Oh, really? Interesting. Alright, so I must ask you for assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed? I mean, the only other thing to do anything with the poison is the bottle or the report. The fact that she's been studying it means maybe she's come up with an antidote. But how do we prove that? We can only put the doubt there. Because this is what she was studying, right? A solution for respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or a patient will die of suffocation. Yeah, I'm probably going to save the game before we do anything else. Let's just... There we go. Save, yes. Hi Louise, how are you? Good to see you. How's everything going? Alright, so... No, it's not that. This, then, no. Let's see if there's anything about the bottle that we missed, though. I mean... Already read the label. We know there's some water in the bottle still. Nothing on the top. Nothing on the bottom. We can can be fairly certain it's the exact same bottle. Doing good? Excellent. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Been busy, but other than that, doing good. Oh, hang on. Because of course... Can you examine the glass photo? We can use the magnifying glass, but we haven't got anything else we can do with that yet. Would you like a nudge in the right direction? No, I think I've got it, King. The thing I said earlier on, and I totally forgot that I wondered, like, okay, well this is a bit weird, when we read the report first, was route of entry. The above effect occurs when the poison enters the body through a wound inflicted by a blow dart, for instance, or maybe like an arrowhead. She just ingested it. That explains it, and I totally forgot that was even a thing that I raised an eyebrow at earlier, so yes. We're gonna present this.
Yes!
The answer to the riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report. That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. The report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur, this report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Consul. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer? That would be the second bit, right? What was it called? Let's just make sure. It doesn't say page 1, 2, or 3, does it? I don't know if they're in page order. Special characteristics, yes. Okay, good. It is that one. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Consul? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using the poison for years and years to lace the heads of arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if it were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean that there would be traces of poison left in the prey their hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because they'd be eating poison. But good gracious, Consul. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you're going to use poison to hunt something, aren't you going to be eating the poison after you do it? But if it's safe to eat, because your stomach breaks it down, no problem. Under special characteristics, it says this: the poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. And he just had a molar removed. So, in there on the gum, there would have been an opening, an abrasion, something. You know, there'd have been an open sore in there, right? So when he drank the water, it got in that way. So it was still in the water, it's just he'd had a molar removed. I was just thinking, so what did you, this is going to blow our whole case out of the water. They were saying that the bottle of water was poisoned. But it can't be ingested and it doesn't work that way. But he had a tooth removed just an hour before. That gum is going to be open and sore. There'll be a gap there, there'll be an abrasion, a cut, whatever. Got in through there. Yes, the mention of the particular detail seems a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has a terrifying poisonous effect. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effect whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Karari's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Oh shit, the swan! Rapscallion! Telling your swans they're posh geese. They will fuck you up. Well, Ryu, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Yeah, swans are arseholes. They really are. Really? A lawyer? All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it Oh, do shut up! So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? She's going to point out what we just thought about. Well, he drank the water too, so he couldn't have died from the poison if it is in fact in there. But we already know how that gets taken apart. As even your brain has managed to deduce Karari is safe to ingest, it seems likely that the effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh yes, well of course, gastric suckers, what are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Gah. That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science, since even as a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this is... Karari poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. Yeah, there just happened to be poison in the water, but it's fine. That's right. Even a little cockroach like you can understand something as simple as that. He's cracking, though. We're getting to her. He's getting into demon mode. What is this welling up inside me? Fear. I must run from the swan. I've never felt like this before. Sort of a conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Oh damn, he pointing! He objected! Oh damn! The first time he's done that so far. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. But why are things suddenly so fucking huge? How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison, you're alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Consul, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence. As we know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson have been killed by the Karare? Because of his surgery.
Take that!
Take that! As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of the Karari are only felt when the poison enters through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you'd just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment on that day. So that's it. You used the knowledge to orchestrate this. She's gonna break. She's gonna snap. It's gonna be glorious. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are so puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. And then you could be charged for tampering with evidence. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! Yeah, because she's gonna look completely innocent after doing that. Like, fucking, really? She's just gonna, oh yeah. Officer, what are you waiting for? Oh, what did I just do? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. The delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Ha 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 ha! And now I'm going to get off scot-free. Well, no, how could you? You won't get away with this. And on that bombshell... You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not. You. Let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to the photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day using karate. And then in order to frame Ryu for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor dead in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. As you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryu Suzunoke Noke Naruda Hodo. Whatever, I don't care. It is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... She's really going to get away with it? Yeah, because she broke evidence in court in front of witnesses. That gets you off scot-free. I'll have to remember that if ever I go on trial for murder at one point in my life. Get some of the evidence, break it and say, ha! You've got nothing! And walk out. The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryu. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish this. What? What do you mean? We lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true, so if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before your powers of observation were one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember the last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every colour, every smell. Go to your mind palace. What I saw and felt. Every colour. Blood on the thing. Oh yeah. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? I mean, there's gotta be. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryu? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off the Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling at me for a while that something feels amiss in the memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all of this. It's here somewhere. A clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer is. Or has been, or whatever. I mean... yeah, obviously it's like, dude, the bloodstain.
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? I'm still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime? Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Wait a minute. Where are you going? Oh, do shut up. Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. A memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw on the wooden base of the plate the steak was served on. There was a splattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. And the bullet never exited the body. It's still in him. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. The blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. No. Jazeel Brett, I beg your pardon. This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence for the scene of the crime, I took it. Meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Right. Guys, can you say cliffhanger? I'm gonna have to leave it there for the night. This is gonna go on for another hour and a half. I think at least. Because we've still got to answer the whole question of where her gun is as well. So... oh, and my throat's getting raw.